Hello, thank you so much for joining. Let's go ahead and start today's practice in an easy seated position. You're always welcome to grab a pillow, a block, a blanket to sit on, or even your chair. You can have a crisscross applesauce. You could send your legs out long for something different. Sometimes I like to put the soles of my feet on the ground, my knees bent, and just let my elbows rest there. Wherever you find this easy, sustainable seated position, will lengthen through the spine, allowing the shoulders to relax, feeling your breath as you intentionally start to come into a moment of pause. Maybe you close your eyes if you haven't already. Maybe you soften your gaze. As you allow yourself to begin to shut out the outside world and simply come into this moment in space, breathing slowly, intentionally, letting yourself grow heavier into your space, into your seat. We'll begin by noticing the energy of the body. Are you feeling high energy or maybe low energy? Well, then take that same awareness. We start to notice the muscles, the joints, and the bones throughout the body. Taking notice of any sensations. Not to offer any of these things judgment, but instead to simply give them space, acknowledgement. With each exhale, growing heavier into the seat. We'll then begin to notice the breath itself. Noticing where the air enters, following it down the windpipe, feeling the torso expand, and then allowing the air to exit, noticing the temperature as it leaves the body. We'll then start to get into our breathing exercise for today. For today's practice, our breathing exercise will be a 3-part breath. A 3-part breath, we breathe in, allowing our lungs at the deepest part, the abdomen, start to expand. We'll take a pause and then we'll breathe in again, allowing the torso and rib cage to expand. Taking another pause before we inhale to the point that our collarbone rises, so much air in our lungs. And once we reach the top, we take a slow, steady exhale. allowing the breath to completely leave the body. And we'll continue with this breath. Just a few cycles here. Inhale, pause. Inhale, pause. Inhale, slow, steady, exhale. Continue at our own pace, taking each segment, each pause, whatever fashion feels good for us. And allowing ourselves to get lost in the present moment, to get lost in the function of that three-part breath. Inhale, pause. Inhale, pause. Inhale, slow, steady, exhale. Our lives are a never-ending journey. And we learn so much about the world and ourselves along the way. We can get so fixated on the destinations that we forget to enjoy the journeys. Not to say that we shouldn't have dreams or goals. We definitely should. But rather, that we should take a breath and embrace where we are on the path in that journey, rather than being so focused on what lies ahead. Can you soften into the here and now? We learn so much on the journey that ultimately makes us who we are when we reach the destinations. But really, can we let the journey be the destination? Take a few more breaths, maybe finding your natural flow. And as you do, let go of any ideas of imagined futures. And allow yourself to drop into the beauty of where you are in your journey. Wonderful job. We'll take a deep breath as we come back into this present moment. We'll offer ourselves a little bit of gratitude that we took time out of our busy week to come find a little bit of movement and meeting yourself right where you're at in this journey today. We'll then begin to wiggle our fingers and our toes. We'll allow our eyes to flutter open. And then with a great big inhale, we'll circle the arms out to the side and up, maybe looking up as we do. With our exhale, we'll allow the hands to come together down through your prayer pose, letting them rest at your heart space. And take a moment with eyes opened or closed to set an intention for today's class. something you would like to connect with while we move and rest here today. Taking one more big inhale and slow, steady exhale to seal that intention in. And then with our exhale, we'll let our hands rest on our lap. If we were in a floor seated position, we'll come down onto our backs into a ball, hugging the knees in towards the chest and finding some movement left to right. If you're taking your movement from chair position today, or chair modifications, instead we'll allow the heart to come down towards the knees, curling chin into chest, rounding through your body and finding a little movement left to right, giving your glutes a massage. We'll start to find some stillness in our ball shape, and then if we're seated, we'll inhale to come up to a straight spine. And if you're on the floor, allow your head and shoulders to relax back. Let's go ahead and begin to take a bend in our right knee and draw it in towards our chest. The left foot can stay on the floor with knee bent. As we take a few ankle circles, rolling the ankle in one direction. And then after a few rotations, we'll reverse that. Beautiful job. Okay, find a little bit of stillness in that ankle. And then we're going to take that right knee and allow it to come out to the right side. So if you're on the floor, you can allow your elbow to come down onto the floor, supporting you as that knee falls out to the side. And you're always welcome to grab your strap and involve your strap here in this process. But we're opening up through that outer right hip and inner right hip at the same time. Great job. And then we're going to come into a variation of half happy baby, allowing that knee to stay on that outside of the rib cage, but then beginning to create a 90-degree bend or close to that, holding anywhere from your foot, your leg, even your thigh muscle, drawing that knee as close to your right rib cage as you can on the outside. Great job. Notice how this hip is feeling. Beautiful job. With our next exhale, we're going to release that into a figure four, drawing our right ankle over towards our left knee and letting the right knee fall out to the side. Now, if this is feeling too intense from the chair, you're always welcome to bring your foot down to the floor or even onto a prop, allowing that knee to open at your own height and level. If you're on the mat, you may want to lift your foot. You can either keep the left knee bent and parallel to the floor, or you could send the foot up towards the ceiling as well. Wherever you're at, we want to keep that right ankle flex, the toes pulling back towards the shin, and lengthen through the back of your neck by tucking the chin just slightly. Beautiful job. If you're leg is lifted, go ahead and drop it back down to the mat. And we'll release that figure four, coming back into our constructive rest or seated mountain. All right, let's take that on the other side. We inhale to bring that left knee in towards the torso. And then we take those ankle circles, going in one direction. Making sure to stick with that slow and steady breath. And then reverse your circles. All right, find stillness in the ankle and then allow the knee to fall out to the side. Opening up that left hip and take a moment to notice how this feels compared to that last one we just took on the other side. All right, let's lift the knee up, foot up, coming into our half happy baby option. Our variation. With our exhale, we release into figure 4. Letting the left hip open, flexing through the left ankle, pulling the toes back towards the shin. And then finding any of the modifications that we took on the other side, on this side, or maybe changing it up. Allowing for whatever this hip needs, this knee, this ankle. Keeping the spine straight. And finding your breath. Great job. With our next exhale, we're going to release that. And then allow the both feet to come down to the floor. From here, we'll find our way up into a seated position if we're on the floor. And we'll all begin to extend our right leg out to the side, pointing the toes away from us. The foot can be flat on the floor if you're in your chair. And then if you're on the floor, go ahead and tuck your left foot in the inner thigh. You're seated in the chair. You can either keep the leg in line with your hip, or maybe you find it more stable to take the knee out to the side just a little bit. All right. Wherever you're at, let's inhale, circle the arms up and look up. The next exhale, we're going to cactus the arms, pulling the heart forward, letting the shoulder blades squeeze, pulling the elbows back. Great job. Inhale, take those arms up again. And then with our next exhale, we're going to twist from the hips and begin to hinge towards our bent knee. You can let your chin come down towards your knee. You can use a prop if you'd like under your hands. Notice how that feels through the back abdominal muscles. Stretching them out. Inhale, we lift arms through center, maybe look up. And then with our exhale, we're going to drop our right hand. We have options. If you're in the chair, you might want to drop it right on your chair by your right hip. If you're on the floor, you could have it anywhere along the leg, the floor, maybe flip the palm and tuck the thumb, or maybe a block. The goal here is to find a side bend by lifting that left arm up and over, stretching through our left side. And then with that next exhale, we're going to drop the top hand towards that extended leg. Allowing yourself to then twist and turn as you fold over that extended leg. And then inhale, we'll roll up through center. And then let's switch sides. Bending left leg long, either tucking the right leg or finding a very stable position on the other side. We point the toes away from us. Inhale, circle our arms up and overhead. With our exhale, we're going to twist through the spine and exhale, coming over that knee, that bent knee, finding your hinge forward. Inhale to come back through center. Exhale, we're going to drop the left hand to the floor, the chair, maybe the leg or a prop as we find a hinge into our side bend to the left. Exhale to drop the right hand down towards the left leg. Twisting towards that extended leg. Inhale to come through center. And then exhale, let's bring it down through a prayer. And we'll come into a butterfly pose, letting the soles of the feet come together. The knees open wide, allow your hands to relax. You can even have them palm up in a moment of receiving. Take a breath here. Check in with your intention that you set for today. On our path, on our journey. Beautiful job. One more breath in this butterfly pose. Great job. With our next inhale, we're going to find our way up into a standing mountain position. We're going to come into our mountain pose, placing our feet firmly, lengthening through the spine. And then inhale to circle the arms up, reach them up, really up. Feel that length and extension as you separate yourself from the floor as much as you can by lifting those fingertips towards the ceiling as much as possible. And then with our next exhale, we're going to bring our hands through a prayer through heart center and continue down into a forward fold. Letting your hands rest on your prop of choice, the floor, your legs, wherever. Let your head drop towards the mat. Allow a moment to allow everything to drip off of you onto the floor. Maybe even invite a little movement here if you'd like to take a ragdoll. Lift the heels, sway the hips. Any movement you'd like throughout the body. And then come into some stillness. Allow your hands to return to their previous location if you grabbed opposite elbow. Inhale to press into the hands to halfway lift, figure 7. Exhale, hinge and fold. Our next inhale, we're going to bend the knees deeply, and then let's take a slow roll coming all the way up to standing, reaching those arms up, 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 up. Exhale, cactus. Inhale, reach it up. And exhale, bring it down through a prayer into your mountain pose. All righty. From here, move into a downward dog. So maybe using the chair or the floor or a wall or wherever we are, we're going to press our hands about shoulder distance apart. We're going to allow our head to come in between our arms, bending through the knees as much as necessary or wanted. And then start to find a little gentle movement, pedaling through the legs, shifting the weight left to right. Great job. If you're on a floor downward dog, go ahead and drop your knees to come into a tabletop pose, bringing the hands under the shoulders. And if you're taking a prop downward dog, we're going to inhale to lift up into our tabletop pose. So same thing, hands and shoulders in alignment, knees, hips, feet in alignment, gentle bend in those knees if you're standing. From here, let's take a few cat-cows, dropping our belly, lifting our gaze, and then exhale to reverse that. Take the spine away from you as you curl your chin towards your chest. Take your cat-cows at your own pace. All right, start to find a little bit of stillness. Now for this next hip opener, you have the option to stay in your tabletop, or if you'd like just a little bit more, return to your downward dog variation. So this can be done from either variation. All right, so we're gonna start by lifting our left leg behind us. Pointing the toes away from us, really allowing that left leg to drag back behind you, wherever you're at. All right, with our next inhale, begin to bend that left knee and then stack the hips, opening up through the hips here. Take one more breath on this side. Inhale to come back into your three-legged version. Exhale, tabletop or downward dog. Great job. With our next inhale, we're gonna start to lift the right leg, three-legged. Point the toe away from you, really drag that whole leg as far back behind you as you can. You're standing, make sure you have a bend in your standing leg. And then with our exhale, let's bend the knee, open the hip, stacking those hips. Great job. Exhale, send it back out long, really pull the toes away from you. Exhale, release, tabletop or downward dog. And with our inhale, we'll find our way into a forward fold. If you're in a downward dog, you're walking your feet up towards your hands maybe, or whatever way feels good for you. Inhale, halfway lift. Go ahead and pause at this halfway lift point. We're going to take the palms, where the ball of the hand is of each hand, placing it at the top of our thigh muscle on both sides of the body. Begin to press into those thigh muscles. Really dig the balls of your hands into that muscle as you lengthen and try to straighten the arms as much as possible. You may notice a little bit of release in the lower vertebrae from lengthening the spine this way. Exhale to release. Forward fold. Bend the knees, sink the hips, take a slow roll, come all the way up to your mountain pose. Circling arms up and overhead. Exhale, cactus. Inhale, tall mountain. Exhale, prayer. At heart center. All righty, great job. From here, let's go ahead and step that left foot back. We're gonna come into a high lunge position. We're gonna bend through both knees, pulling our thighs towards each other. Take a moment here to really set up your foundation in your pose, and then finding a crescent lunge that feels good for you. So you can always keep your hands on your prop. You can bring them to heart center. You can maybe lift them up by the ears, reaching them up towards the sky. Allow yourself to take one more breath, sinking into the knees. Great job. Now go ahead and step that back foot up into your mountain pose. We'll take it on the other side, stepping that left foot or right foot back. We're going to take a moment, getting into our crescent lunge, setting up our foundation. Allowing your core to pull back towards your spine. You're doing a great job here. All right, our next exhale brings us back up through our mountain pose. Now we're going to build on that just a little bit. So we're going to go back into the first leg, crescent lunge. Now as we start to add on, we're going to go through a cycle, a flow even, down a path or a journey. So you'll start to maybe feel familiar, maybe start to feel frustrated, even annoyed, or any number of feelings as we're on this path. Our next inhale straightens that front leg, and as we exhale, we'll hinge into a forward fold over that front leg. Just like life, take the time throughout this path. Rest in the comfort of the familiar. Set up your foundations. But to see if you can drop into enjoying the journey. Inhale back up through your high lunge. Step the back foot in. Take the other foot back. Second side. Crescent lunge. Next exhale, see if you can sink it deeper into the bend of your knees. Inhale to straighten both legs. Exhale to hinge over that front leg. Now you can always bring your hands to your leg, to your props on either side of the foot, or onto your own leg even, or the floor. But if you're noticing the stretch strongly in the ligament of the knee, bend the knee just slightly until you can move the stretch to the thigh muscle. Inhale, high lunge. Step it in. Take a moment, take any movement you need. All right, you know the first two. We're going to add on two more. Let's step back the first leg. Inhale, crescent lunge. Now we might start to move through them just a little bit quicker here as we come into adding more poses. Inhale to straighten the front leg. Exhale to hinge and forward fold. Pyramid pose. Inhale, high lunge. Exhale, we're going to open into a warrior two, dropping that back heel, opening the arms wide as we open through our hips here. Beautiful job. Let's take our back hand to our hip or slide it down the back leg and lift that front hand up overhead or hold on to a prop as you hinge back into a reverse warrior. Great job. With our next inhale, we're going to circle the arms forward. Take the back heel with us so we come through our high lunge and then step the back foot in. All right. Step second side back, crescent lunge. Always set up your position, your foundation through each pose. Again, the destination isn't as important as the journey. Inhale, straighten the front leg. Exhale, hinge and forward fold. Pyramid pose. Inhale, high lunge. Exhale, open warrior two. Dropping that back heel, opening the hips wide. Spreading fingertips wide, pulling fingertips back. Inhale, reverse your warrior. Exhale, arms forward, high lunge. Step it in. All right, we're going to add just a little bit more onto that. You know where we're going. Start to let yourself really get into and enjoy the journey. Inhale, first side back, crescent lunge. Exhale, sink it a little bit deeper maybe. Inhale, straighten through the front leg. Exhale, hinge into your forward fold. Inhale, crescent lunge. Exhale, warrior two. Inhale, reverse your warrior. Exhale, we're gonna come into a side angle, front hand or elbow to knee or your prop. Circle back hand up and over. Beautiful job. With our inhale, we're gonna come through our warrior two, straighten both legs, reverse your warrior. Great job. With our inhale, we're gonna bring our arms back to a T, straighten through the spine. We're gonna pull our front fingertips forward for a triangle pose, and then drop the front hand to the shin or to a prop as we stack wrist and shoulders in a straight line. Your next exhale, we're gonna take that top hand, drop it towards the front leg, and then allow the same hand as the front leg to spiral and revolve your triangle pose. Great job. Exhale to bring the hands back down. Inhale to spiral them up. Exhale, warrior two. Inhale, we're gonna find our high lunge. Step it up. All right, we're gonna take that flow on the other side. You're doing great. Maybe just allow yourself to flow for a moment. Step back, side two, crescent lunge. Sink it in on your exhale. Inhale to straighten the front leg and hinge into your forward fold. Inhale, crescent lunge. Exhale, warrior two. Inhale, reverse your warrior. Exhale, side angle. Inhale, straighten through the front leg, reverse your warrior one more time. Exhale, arms settle into a T, spine straight. Begin to pull the front fingertips forward. Exhale, triangle pose. Drop the top hand towards where the bottom hand is resting, and then take it into that revolve twist. Beautiful job. Exhale, come back through center with both hands. Inhale, spiral the arms up, warrior two. Exhale, lift the heel, high lunge. Step it in. Beautiful flow. Inhale, arms lift, tall mountain. Exhale, cactus. Inhale, tall mountain. And then let's take the arms wide to a T. We'll come into a eagle arms of our choice. Right arm on bottom, left arm on top. Hugging towards our shoulders, maybe bringing the backs or the fronts of hands together. Maybe bringing the strap in between the arms. And then maybe staying here, maybe starting to bend into the knees, like in a chair pose. You're doing a beautiful job. Inhale to release, straightening everything. And then let's take it on the other side. Exhale to sink it in. Inhale to lengthen. So exhale, we'll bring our hands down by our sides. And then we're going to take one last downward dog. So either on our prop or on the floor, hands shoulder distance apart, sinking the head in as you walk the hips back, walk the feet back. We're going to Inhale, lifting the left leg. Three-legged dog variation. And then with our next inhale, begin to bring the knee in towards the nose. And then we're gonna pause there and send the left foot out towards the right side. Now, you're always welcome to even bring some blocks under the hands. If you're taking the floor version, this might feel a little bit better to give a little more space for your body. The goal here is to stretch through that outer IT band on the extended leg. Inhale back through three-legged dog. Exhale, downward dog. Inhale, opposite leg, three-legged dog. Inhale, knee to nose. Send it over to the opposite side of the floor, letting it rest on the outer edge of your foot if that feels okay for your body. Finding the IT band stretch along the outer edge of that extended leg. For one last breath. Inhale to bring it back, three-legged dog. Exhale, downward dog. You're on the floor, go ahead and come down to a tabletop. And then come over onto your hips into a seated position. If you're in the chair, we'll come seated in our chair as well. From here, we'll place the feet about hip distance apart, lifting the toes up. And then let's inhale to lift the arms up to shoulder height, coming into a boat as we hinge back just a little bit if we're on the floor. If you're taking this from the chair, our options are to keep our feet firmly planted or bring them just behind the knees a little bit. We'll inhale to lift our arms up to shoulder height. And then with our exhale, we'll lean forward. Great job. Now, if you're on the floor, you're welcome to lift those feet up and hold behind the legs. So hold the arms long wherever you're at. We're going to take one last breath here in our boat of choice. And then with our exhale, if we're on the floor, we're going to roll into a ball. And if you're on the chair, maybe grab a pillow or a prop, bringing it behind your spine to come into a reclined position with the hips forward and the shoulders back. We'll begin to bring the left foot into a constructive 90-degree bend and hug in the right knee towards the chest. Feel that compression as you draw the knee in. And our next exhale, we'll drop the knee to the side and then find our variation of happy baby, half happy baby once more. Noticing how this might feel different than it did at the beginning of class. How our path, our journey has changed. Something in our body maybe. And exhale to release. We'll inhale, bring left knee in towards the chest, a little compression here. Exhale, let the knee fall to the side. Half happy baby. Wonderful job. With our exhale, we'll release that side and we'll find a butterfly, a reclined butterfly, allowing the soles of the feet to come together, the knees wide. Bringing the heels as close to the hips as feels appropriate in your body at this point. Your hands can rest on your body. They can come alongside the floor by your hips on the chair, or you could even circle them, interlacing the fingers, letting the elbows go out wide, and your hands support the back of your head. Allow yourself to sink into a few 3-part breaths to really allow yourself come into this moment of restorative yoga. Inhale, pause, inhale, pause, inhale, slow, steady, exhale. Continuing to hold that breath for just a few cycles as you open up and surrender the lessons the body has in this moment. Great job. Go ahead and circle the hands down by the thighs, letting the hands push the knees together. And then bring the feet about hip distance apart. If you're on the chair, hold on to the chair a little bit. And let's windshield wiper the knees left to right, rolling through the hips here. Now, if this dynamic movement feels really good, you are welcome to continue rocking through the hips. But if you'd like to pause on one side, you're also welcome to do that. Taking a moment on each side equally. Coming through to the other side. Beautiful job. With our next inhale, we'll bring our knees back through center. And then let's send the legs long, send the arms up overhead, really lengthen out here until you're pointing your fingers and toes exactly opposite from each other, creating that length and distance between the entire length of the body. Really feel like you're pulling your fingers and toes in opposite directions. And then with your next exhale, allow yourself to release into your final resting pose. Now you're welcome to stay where you are. You can find a constructive rest or a corpse pose. You're welcome to add props, take the legs up the wall, really anything that is sustainable as you settle in here. We'll take a few breaths, allowing yourself any movement you need throughout this last few moments of class. Well, maybe we'll close our eyes and maybe we'll simply soften our gaze. We'll begin to allow our breath to lengthen a little bit deeper. We'll feel ourselves grow heavier. First, the muscles of the face, the cheeks, the jaw, the eyelids and tongue. And then the shoulders start to relax and grow heavier. The spine melds into the surfaces you're resting on. The hips get a little heavier. The legs. Finally, all the muscles throughout the feet and toes relax. Every step you've taken has led you to this moment. right here and right now. Take this moment to honor how far you've come. When I think of my life, I've realized it is a constant state of becoming, taking steps blindly into the unknown and growing as I do, sometimes without even realizing it. It's like the journey of a butterfly, beginning as a caterpillar and then making its chrysalis, then waiting patiently and growing until it is strong enough to break out of that chrysalis and turn into the beautiful butterfly that was always within. Wherever we are on our journey of life, know that we're always right where we're supposed to be. We're only lost or off track if we are heading somewhere in particular. We can tend to get so fixated on the destinations and what we think our path is supposed to look like. Or we get stuck comparing our paths to another's. But the truth is, there isn't a correct path. There's no timeline to our becoming. Over time, I've learned to trust each moment, however difficult, however joyful, knowing that it's where I am supposed to be. We can learn to love where we are on our path. We don't have to be so goal-driven, always keeping our eyes on the prize and forgetting to enjoy the journey along the way. We can remember to love the ground upon which we stand right now on our path. I'm not saying to give up or let go of your goals, but rather we can fall in love with where we are on our journey as well. There is so much beauty in each step. We can begin to love the process. We can love our unfolding. Let us love the unveiling of who we are in each moment. Bow to every step you've taken to get you where you are today. Bow to the leaps and bounds you've made, the missteps too. We can honor every part of our journey. We can love ourselves. Sometimes we tend to only celebrate the wins, But did you ever consider that even the losses are wins? We can celebrate it all and honor everything. Or we will get stuck in the illness of only loving ourselves when we are the best. Conditional love, even towards ourselves, is not love at all. Honor your journey fully and completely. It is what makes you the unique and beautifully you. As we take our last few breaths here together, bring your mind to life's journeys thus far. Contemplate how every single moment has shaped you into the persons you are right now. Beautiful job today. We'll begin to bring our awareness back to the surfaces that are supporting us. Take the deepest breath of our day so far, coming back into this present moment. Begin to wiggle fingers and toes. Maybe flutter the eyes open in your own time. And then find your way up to an upright position facing me. Thank you so much for sharing a little bit of your journey with me today. I hope you have a great week ahead of you and that you find time to appreciate those joyful moments in the journeys. Thank you so much. Until next time.